Good evening and welcome to NewsNight. Tonight we'll have all your international, national, and local news. I'm Addison Deal.
And I'm Cade Montgomery. The Writers Guild of America strike may soon be coming to an end. Find out about the details of this tentative agreement.
And the Halloween season is coming upon us, Pittsburgh. Hear about all the events that are happening this weekend to get you in the spirit.
All this and more coming up on NewsNight.
UK police officers are choosing to no longer carry firearms after a member of the Metropolitan Police was charged with the murder of an unarmed black man. The shooting, which took place on September 5th of 2022, took the life of Chris Caba, 24. Caba was driving a car with a license plate number linked to a previous incident related to firearms. The officer followed Caba in an unmarked police vehicle until pulling him over, where the officer fired a shot through the windshield of the vehicle. Caba unfortunately passed later that night in the hospital. The officer was placed on suspension until he was charged with murder last week and is currently awaiting trial. In a statement this past Monday, the Metropolitan Police announced that some officers would not be carrying firearms while they, quote, consider their position, end quote. BBC reports that over 300 officers have relinquished their weapons licenses. Firearm licenses for UK offers differ from the US. Members of the Metropolitan Police commonly carry batons or pepper spray, while officers with guns are deployed only when necessary. A temporary plan of backup with the UK Army was put in place for situations where armed officers are required until enough officers have returned to duty.
The Canadian House Speaker has issued an apology after previously honoring a Ukrainian veteran who fought for a Nazi unit in World War II. According to CNN, Canadian House Speaker Anthony Rota, 62, honored Yaroslav Hunka, 98, as both a Ukrainian and Canadian veteran, saying that he, quote, fought for Ukrainian independence against the Russian aggressors then and continues to support the troops today, end quote. This was during a visit to the Canadian Parliament by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. It turns out that Hunka did fight in the war, but according to NBC News, he fought as part of the 14th Waffen Grenadier Division of the SS, which is, quote, a Nazi military unit whose crimes against humanity during the Holocaust are well documented, end quote. NBC also reported that the Friends of Simon Wiesenthal Center, which is a Canadian human rights group that promotes awareness about the Holocaust and fighting anti-Semitism, was deeply disturbed by the recognition and was even further outraged when they learned of the round of applause that was given for the veteran following the recognition. The center said, quote, the fact that a veteran who served in a Nazi military unit was invited to and given a standing ovation in Parliament is shocking, end quote. Rota took full responsibility for the comment that he made, stating, quote, I particularly want to extend my apologies to the Jewish communities in Canada and around the world. I accept full responsibility for my actions, end quote.
India has stopped issuing visas to Canadian citizens, quote, due to operations reasons with immediate effect, i.e. 21st September 2023. Indian visa services in Canada have been suspended till further notice, end quote, as well as referencing possible security threats. This action comes after Prime Minister Justin Trudeau told his House of Commons that there are, quote, credible allegations, end quote, that the Indian government may have been involved in the killing of Sikh separatist and Gurdwara president Hardeep Singh Nijjar outside of his place of worship in Surrey, British Columbia. The Indian government denies these claims and pushes that the pause is to ensure the safety of their citizens during their ongoing tensions with Canada. A submarine supply transfer off South Africa's coast emerges into a deadly disaster. Reporter Ashton Harder is here with the story.
Last Wednesday, 7 crew members were swept off the deck of the SAS Manthasis submarine by a big wave. 3 South African Navy personnel, as well as a senior officer, was left in critical condition. The Air Force Lynx helicopter was attempting a, quote, vehicle transfer of supplies. The submarine was on the ocean surface near Comment J. The 3 victims were identified as Gillian Elizabeth Hector, Master Warrant Officer Marcella Matipa, and Warrant Officer Class 1 Mwakbaham Lucius Mongila. It has been reported by several South African news outlets that Hector had been the first woman to ever navigate a military submarine for any African nation. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa said in a statement, quote, "This is a sad loss for our nation. and for our brave armed forces in particular, who routinely face danger in order to keep all of us safe and secure, end quote.
The headquarters of Russia's Black Sea Fleet was the target of Ukrainian missile strikes on Friday, leaving the building decimated. The attack took place in Sevastopol, Crimea, a location in which Russia illegally annexed from Ukraine in 2014. The blast left multiple people injured with a death count uncertain as of now. A second strike from Ukraine was also deployed in Sevastopol. Days after the initial strike, Ukrainian forces claim that the target areas included buildings holding military equipment and weapons, in which 4 of those units were hit. Coming up after the break, hear about how Joe Biden is looking to improve some of America's most important infrastructure. Don't go away.
The Biden administration announced this past Monday that $1.4 billion has been awarded to rail safety in boost capacity. After the lasting damage of the East Palestine train derailment, the Biden administration has been pushing for a rail safety bill in the Senate awaiting a vote. $1 billion of the funding is coming from the 2021 infrastructure bill. The money will be funding 70 projects in 35 different states and in Washington, D.C. Projects include weatherization, bridge repairs, track upgrades, and improving connectivity. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg said in a statement to AP News, quote, "These projects will make American rail safer, more reliable, and more resilient, delivering tangible benefits to dozens of communities where railroads are located and strengthening supply chains for the entire country," end quote. One project in particular has sectioned off $178.4 million to restore passenger service in Alabama, Louisiana, and Mississippi around the Gulf of Mexico. These areas were destroyed during Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Upon the project's completion, these services will be available for the first time since the hurricane struck.
For the past almost 5 months, the Writers Guild of America, more commonly known as WGA, has been on strike due to an ongoing labor dispute with AMPTP, the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers. The strike has been detrimental to many studios and workers in Hollywood and beyond, causing many studios to close doors or reduce their staff. This has been the longest time that the WGA has been on pause since the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic, lasting almost 150 days. NBC News reported that this past Sunday, an agreement was reached that could resolve the strike and bring an end to this walkout. They reported that the Guild said, quote, "WGA has reached a tentative agreement with the AMPTP. This was made possible by the enduring solidarity of WGA members and extraordinary support of our union siblings who joined us on the picket lines for over 146 days," end quote. The Guild Negotiating Committee also said, quote, "We can say with great pride that this deal is exceptional, with meaningful gains and protections for writers in every sector of the membership," end quote. The picketing was officially suspended on Sunday night. Democratic Senator Robert Menendez has been indicted on charges of corruption for the second time. Reporter Colleen Winder has more details.
New Jersey Senator Robert Menendez, age 56, was charged with bribery after federal agents found more than $480,000 in cash at his home. The cash was found in envelopes, closets, clothes, and safes around the house. Also found were 13 bars of gold bullion and paid off new Mercedes-Benz and $70,000 in his wife's safety deposit box. Menendez was previously acquitted on federal bribery in 2017, with his current charge becoming public last Friday. The bribes are also allegedly said to be from the Egyptian government, as the senator has previously used his political influence to lift restrictions on military aid to Egypt in exchange for a no-show job for his wife. He also alleged to have some of the same influence to enrich Egyptian businessman Wael Hana by giving him opportunities and lifting restrictions on his business. As a result, fellow Democratic governor and senators have called for his resignation, including PA's Governor John Fetterman. Currently, Menendez continues to deny the allegations and rejects the resignation outcry, but has stepped down as the chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee as required if indicted. He states, quote, "I firmly believe that when all the facts are presented, not only will I be exonerated, but I still will be New Jersey's senior senator," end quote.
On Tuesday, September 19th, Kraft announced a precautionary recall regarding 83,800 cases of their individually wrapped, processed American cheese packages. The recall was announced after the company received several complaints from customers regarding pieces of plastic stuck to the cheese. Reportedly, several customers choked or gagged on the material, but no injuries or lasting effects have been claimed. Kraft claims the issue occurred after a wrapping machine may not have released the plastic film from the wrapper. The company apologizes for the inconvenience and is offering a reimbursement to customers who purchased an affected package. A Wyoming ranch faces potential license suspension after safety and sanitation accusations were brought to light. Reporter Ashton Harder has more.
Triangle Cross Ranch in Wyoming, which recently changed its name to Sunlight Mountain Boys Ranch, has been stripped of its child welfare license after child abuse accusations, as well as sanitary violations. Originally, the ranch was advertised to treat children with RID, reactive attachment disorder, and ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, as well as those struggling with learning disabilities, amongst other issues. The license was revoked in June, but the ranch has found a way to stay open. It will no longer need the license. The ranch owner, Gerald Schneider, said, according to an NBC article, that he was, quote, appointed guardian of the young living there, end quote. John Asheen, founder of the director of the nonprofit organization for Wyoming Children's Law Center, said, quote, it is incredibly troubling that they would decide to go this route after losing their license to be a child caring facility. In order to investigate the ranch, the Department of Family Services will now need a specific complaint or allegation.
Cases of the West Nile virus are increasingly rising. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention are urging people to take precautions as 43 states have reported West Nile virus infections this year. According to CDC data, in the past few weeks, a total of 880 cases have been reported nationwide, with Colorado having the worst outbreak, with 243 cases and 11 deaths. While most cases are in western and southwestern states, officials across the East Coast have raised concerns as New Jersey officials have reported the state's first death from the virus of the season. About 1 in 150 people with the virus will have serious or fatal illnesses. Point Park recently hosted a developers forum to discuss downtown Pittsburgh's future. Here are comments from Mayor Ed Gainey after the break.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Daybreak. Take Chicken Guy opened in PPG Place on Monday.
The bridge would open before the 1 year marks.
To check out the 20th annual gingerbread display.
Share with you this week's ray of sunshine.
We are still somehow hanging around in the playoff.
It gives Georgia Democrats some hold onto the governing body.
200,000 people still in harm's way.
This weather is perfect for those cozy nights indoors.
Residents had a surprising sight walking down the streets last week. Little Amal is a 12-foot tall puppet who represents a displaced 10-year-old Syrian girl. Amal, which translates to hope in Arabic, stopped in Pittsburgh this past Thursday on her world tour, which started in Syria and Turkey in 2021. Little Amal was created by a group in South Africa to spread the stories of immigrants from all over the world and how all the stories connect us as Americans. In each of her stops, she visits the important historical sites of each area, encouraging the children of the area to learn more about the world around them. She has visited 15 countries so far and will be continuing her trip as long as possible. Pittsburgh Historical Sites had partnerships to sponsor events for Little Amal to attend. She made appearances at the August Wilson African American Cultural Center, the Mayor's Office, and more. Khadijat Osheni, an associate with Little Amal US, said in a statement to WTAE, quote, is investigating different reasons why people have been displaced and celebrating the stories of many people that have migrated. Pittsburgh is a city within that larger expression, end quote. Little Amal's U.S. goal is to raise $5 million to go towards helping displaced children across the world, and her next stop is Cincinnati.
The Pittsburgh Steelers had quite a scary return back to the Steel City after a win in Nevada against the Las Vegas Raiders this past weekend. On Sunday night, the team boarded a charter plane in Las Vegas, Nevada to fly back to Pittsburgh, but the trip didn't quite go as planned. According to ESPN, the plane had to make a landing in Kansas City, Missouri. The team spokesperson took to the social media platform X to write, quote, "Our team charter plane was unexpectedly diverted to Kansas City early this morning on our way back to Pittsburgh from Las Vegas. Everyone on the plane is safe, and we are making necessary plans to arrive back in Pittsburgh later today," end quote. KDKA-TV Pittsburgh reported that the plane landed in Kansas City at around 5 a.m. Eastern Time and reported that the plane was dealing with an oil pressure issue in one of the engines. Cam Hayward of the Steelers had some fun with the frightening situation, also taking to X to joke to Kansas City Chiefs player Travis Kelce and singer-songwriter Taylor Swift, who are rumored to be in a relationship after Swift attended the Kansas City Chiefs game over the weekend as a guest to Kelce, that the Steelers needed a ride back from them to Pittsburgh. The NFL Network reported that the team finally departed Kansas City on a new plane and landed safely in Pittsburgh at around 1:15 p.m., over 8 hours after this emergency landing.
The 5th annual Party on the Mount will be taking place this Saturday from 3 until 9 p.m. The event will take place along Grandview Avenue in between P.J. McCardle Roadway and Wyoming Street in the Mount Washington neighborhood of Pittsburgh. This event is a fundraiser for neighborhood businesses to set up tents for attendees to check out their services. The Mount Washington Community Development Corporation first launched this event in 2017, allowing companies to become sponsors and vendors. Anyone is permitted to attend this event free of charge thanks to ticketing sponsors Coughlin's Law, Bigham Tavern, Redbeards, and the Summit PGH, all which are restaurants located in Mount Washington. For more information, visit partyonthemount.org. A Pittsburgh-based learning app is taking education further than on the phone screen. Reporter Kalyan Winder is here to give the details on what new program is taking off. Kalyan?
The popular language learning app Duolingo, which is based in East Liberty, PA, has launched its new Duolingo Early Learners First program, in which they will invest $1 million in local education systems to expand childcare quality despite socioeconomic background. This was a response to the 2021 Federal American Rescue Plan that may leave thousands of childcare centers without funding. The program will also directly fund 9 providers such as Shady Lane School and Brightside Academy Early Education up to $80,000 used for academic opportunities. Kendra Ross, the head of social impact at Duolingo, says, quote, "This year is really about stabilizing the quality we already have. And then hopefully, whether it be through us or with other partners, we can help get each other centers to the high-quality ratings, end quote.
Whether you enjoy dressing up as your favorite character or being startled by a frightening jump scare, Halloween is almost a month away. This weekend, several scary events will be kicking off for the Halloween season in the Pittsburgh area. The Gateway Clippers Haunted Pittsburgh Cruise will set sea on Saturday, where riders will hear spooky stories about haunted bridges and encounter spectacle captains. For theater lovers, the comical Evil Dead musical will be taking the stage at the West End Canopy this Friday. Kennywood's Phantom Fall Festival, consisting of haunted ride-through attractions and walk-through haunted houses, began last weekend. All events will wrap up the weekend before or the day of Halloween.
Yesterday, Point Park hosted the Crown Castle Developers Forum. The event focused on the future of downtown Pittsburgh and gave public officials the chance to sell the area to potential developers. Panelists included Mayor Ed Gainey and Allegheny County Executive Rich Fitzgerald. After the event, Mayor Gainey shared his view on the state of public safety following the pandemic.
When I came in the office, compared to where we are now, we're not perfect, but we've improved. And there's no question about that. And we can walk downtown right now and you'll see it. So we have improved. We've never said we're perfect, but when you see the crowds and the amount of people that are coming back downtown, that's exciting. That's uplifting. That's demonstrating that the strategies are working. But we also admit that we have a long way to go coming out of a pandemic. Listen, there are certain elements that we still have to plan for. And we know that, and we're working on it. But there's no microwave meals in development. This takes time, and we've been patient. We've executed just the way we needed to execute to ensure that we've done things the right way. And we will continue to do that. We have not rushed, we've walked, so that when we do it correctly.
Gainey also said that there needs to be more people in the Golden Triangle Ambassador Program, which employs community members to promote safety in downtown Pittsburgh.
Earlier this afternoon, Point Park Center for Inclusive Excellence held an event for its Reset Room opening. The event featured a DIY sensory kit station, safety kits, meditation cards, and more in order to promote this brand new resource. Work study student Zoe Prue talked to us more about the goals of this room and its uses.
Place for sensory reset, as the name implies. It's for whenever you're feeling overwhelmed, having an anxiety attack, or getting overstimulated, or having any mental health sort of crisis maybe, or even if you just need a minute to be calm. It's a place where you can go and just tune out the world. It's very nice, low lighting. There's squishmallows and yoga mats and meditation cards, and it's just a place where you can just take a deep breath, which is always really nice.
The Reset Room is now open for students to use. It is located in West Penn 122 and will be available every day during West Penn hours.
Last week, Point Park students gained the opportunity to meet multiple panelists who spoke at Stage AE. This panel of professionals discussed their careers in the sports and entertainment industries and got the chance to answer student questions. NewsNight reporter Kaiserin attended this event and spoke with Sean Honoran. Here's the story.
Last Monday, Point Park students were given an exclusive peek at the magic of Monday Night Football. This event, coordinated by the Pittsburgh Center for Sports Media and Marketing, was held at Stage AE in downtown Pittsburgh, just walking distance from Acrisure Stadium, where the Steelers would go on to defeat the Browns later that night. Mark Gross, Sean Hanran, and Jeff Greger sat down in a panel to talk about their successful careers in the sports and entertainment multimedia industry, and also shared some knowledge on past and present industry standards when it comes to working in sports media and production. This event was free to Point Park students, with Vice President of Student Affairs Keith Palo saying it had been his dream to put on an event like this for students since he began working at Point Park University. Students were encouraged to ask questions throughout the seminar for the panelists to answer, and were also given the opportunity to talk one-on-one with them after the event. The crew travels with a production van to different NFL stadiums throughout the season, so we may not see this crew back in Pittsburgh for a while. However, Hanran left students with this parting message after the event.
Hi guys, Sean Hanran here, formerly of ESPN for 23 years, run sponsorship, sales, and marketing. Thrilled to be here at Point Park today. Great students, great atmosphere, really enjoyed engaging, and the questions that came out were really impressive, so thanks for having me.
Reporting for NewsNight, I'm Kaiserin.
NewsNight will keep you updated on future events hosted by the Pittsburgh Center for Sports Media and Marketing. When we return, we'll have this week's local Pittsburgh weather report. Plus, stay tuned to hear about a determined young boy, a Lego, and a €2 reward. You won't want to miss this.
Regular physical activity is one of the most important things you can do for your health. The benefits of physical activity include brain health, weight management, reducing disease, strengthening your bones and muscles, and improving your ability to do everyday activities. So, it's time to get up and be active.
A 10-year-old who lost his beloved Lego man has been reunited with the figure after creating a missing poster for it. The Lego man belongs to British schoolboy Jack Steele, and he was left devastated after he lost the figure. Steele said it represents himself and is also named Jack. To help find the missing Lego man, Steele created a lost poster, even offering a €2 reward. The poster states how the Lego man is special to Steele and provides a general description of the figure. It was enough information for a local schoolgirl to find it in a park that Steele plays at. The girl's mom contacted Steele's mom after seeing the missing poster on Facebook. Steele and the Lego man reunited, and while the schoolgirl did not receive the €2 reward, she did receive a box of chocolates from Steele's mom. Is summer finally coming to a close, or is it having one last hurrah? First-time weather reporter Leah Revo is here to give you your local Pittsburgh weather update. Leah?
Thanks, Cade. Let's start this week's forecast by taking a look at tomorrow. Thursday's temperatures will remain roughly the same, staying in the high 60s and low 70s throughout the day. Feel free to leave your sunglasses at home, however, as the expected forecast consists of dense cloud coverage and an 80% chance of heavy rains. As the night falls, the temperatures are expected to drop to the mid-50s with brief showers periodically throughout the night. Now let's take a look at the rest of the week. Don't put your summer clothes away just yet, Pittsburgh, because the remainder of the week is going to see an increase in both warm temperatures and sunny days. As the weekend begins, temperatures will be in the low 70s and the forecast shows partly cloudy skies. However, as next week begins, prepare to see temperatures reaching the 80s and sunshine-filled days. That's all from me. Now back to the desk.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of NewsNight. If you want to see more, check out our social media pages on both Facebook and Instagram at UView Television.
You can also check out more episodes on our YouTube channel or our website, uview.pointpark.edu. I'm Cade Montgomery.
And I'm Addison Deal. From everyone here at NewsNight, thank you for watching and have a great evening.